draws to this expansion is going to be those elemental planes, which we'll see in full glory.
Right. And just as a point of reference, many of you probably hadn't heard of our elemental planes. We talked about them a little bit in the RPG products we put out a number of years ago. But there are 4 planes that the Titans created, millions of years ago, to contain the elementals, which in the primordial prehistory of the world reigned over Azeroth. Back when things were still forming, the elementals were it. And so the Titans, in an interest to shape the world to their liking and bring order to this nascent planet, they locked the elementals away. And so the elementals have been pretty pissed, as seen by characters like Ragnaros, right, who definitely wanted to get vengeance on the world and those who had imprisoned him. So the reemergence of the elemental planes is a big component of this storyline, because now that they're all loosed in the world again, they're not entirely happy about having been locked up all that time anyway. So they're warring with each other, they're warring with the native kingdoms of Azeroth, and there's plenty of calamity to go around.
Indeed. All right, let's move on. Let's shift gears here. Some pretty pictures.
So these are just some visions, concept art that we'll be putting together. While not all of these areas will be built one-to-one, we just wanted to get out ahead of it conceptually and just kind of charge forth and see what kind of ideas we would percolate in anticipation of the expansion set. So this thing's packed with art.
Worgen, Chris.
You want to do it?
No, please.
Where to start with Worgen? I think many of us have loved the Worgen for many years, and they're just a cool-looking race. And when we were talking about a new alliance race and what would work well, there's any number of ideas that pop that feel very appropriate. But the Worgen, we kind of like the idea that the alliance would have somewhat more of a monstrous race. That's what we felt like was needed in their lineup. Whereas we'll get to the goblins in a minute, but their diminutive size seemed to fit really well with the Horde profile. And they're just so cute. But the Worgen, having been formerly human, the story we created is that since the time of Warcraft 3, as the Scourge was overrunning Lordaeron, Gen Greymane within Gilneas closed off the Greymane wall so that his people would not be affected by the plague. But as Dalaran fell and the Scourge marched ever southward, the people of Gilneas got pretty edgy. It was just a matter of time before the Scourge started getting them. And a Dalaran wizard by the name of... Very good. Oh, sorry guys. Yes, by the name of Aragal, who we've kind of reasoned was a patriot of Gilneas, decided to call down a spell and summon creatures that would be able to fight the Scourge for them. And what he summoned, I think, surprised him quite a bit. And it turned out to be perhaps every bit as dangerous as the Scourge itself, as this, let's call it the Worgen, quasi-lycanthropic event began to happen. So ultimately, to cut a story short, the Worgen curse made its way into Gilneas, and much of the early starting experience as Worgen players, you guys will see exactly how this curse wove its way through Gilneas society, and then we'll catch you up on the present day context of the Worgen, what they're fighting for, what they're about, the beast within trying to contain this savage monster within them. They're trying to get to the bottom of where this ancient curse came from. Some of our lore from the original World of Warcraft, we got the whole storyline of the Staff of Elune, which, oh man, we've grilled that out. It's pretty badass, but the whole question is, are the Worgen from somewhere else? Or just for kicks, somewhen else? So a lot of really interesting stuff we've been playing with, and just the context of the Worgen and their own innate racial struggle should provide for just a lot of cool flavor and drama. And then their inclusion into the Alliance. Imagine these guys at a temperament level are kind of like Wolverine, right? They're kind of like the Wolverine of the Alliance, which is a nice tone to have as part of that, that racial lineup. So.
Yeah, absolutely. one of the things you'll notice too, and you'll actually be able to play the Worgen start area as well as the Goblin start area today, is right.
And it's badass.
It is. It is, in fact, if you enjoyed the Death Knight area, you're gonna. This tops that by a mile. It's amazing. So we're doing a lot of neat things with this starting area, with the starting experience. Unique things, I guess you'd say. You'll actually start today, and I just want to kind of preface your play session at level 6 instead of level 1 for a very good reason. We have some special surprises in store that we'll reveal in the future for both the Goblin and the Worgen for the 1 to 5s. So, Worgen, let's move on.
Moving on. So this is some extra concept work we've been doing. Oh, not too much of it, I guess.
I can go back.
Concept piece.
All right, let's go. Let's move on.
Right.
These guys got to talk too. All right, Goblins.
So as you guys know, since about, well, in Warcraft 2, the Goblins were part of the Horde. You know, they used their Zeppelins and their bombers and such. But in general, Goblin society is broken up on the Isle of Kazan. They're a very technological race, and Goblin society is broken up between certain factions or cartels, right? There's a number of different trade princes who command essentially private armies and wheel and deal all over the world. So the Goblins that we use neutrally in World of Warcraft, on the Zeppelins and different travel routes, Gadgetzan, Ratchet, places like that, they're kind of more of a neutral group, general neutral group. The Goblins that you'll play as part of the Horde are a specific group from the Isle of Kazan. And oh, is there, guys, when you get to see it. So with all of the cataclysms striking the world, let's say that the cataclysm hit Kazan very hard. And these Goblins, through the storyline, were kind of driven out and shipwrecked upon the lost
Unique experience with the Goblins. You'll play through various story arcs, and we'll actually be incorporating a lot of the Wrath Lich King for both Worgen and Goblins.
Yeah.
We're going way over the top on these two races to start with, but their inclusion into the Horde is something you'll uncover on the. They don't start out as a Horde race. Actually, they start out as a cartel, a Bilgewater cartel, actually, a neutral race on Kazan, and they're forced into it, unfortunately. But you'll find that out today too, hopefully. And you'll figure out how they were jumped into the Horde.
Right. I guess one thing I would say too is that with the Cataclysm and how heavy it is for the nations, of Azeroth, there are in this expansion set some dark days ahead. We thought it got bad in Northrend, right? These expeditions went up to fight the Lich King, and that fight is still in progress, obviously. And right under everybody's noses, this event happens, and it is going to the Horde. But one of the things about Goblins in comic relief coming up here pretty soon, and the Goblins just fit that bill perfectly. So, good vibe. There we go.
That's their mount, by the way. Okay, upheaval. What does that mean, Chris? What does upheaval mean?
Well, Alex, relative to Webster's New International Dictionary, upheaval is, upheaval, yeah. So, what, guys? We got tidal waves. Let's just take a moment. Can you guys see that picture? Let's take a moment. This is one of my favorite Warcraft pictures ever. I love it. It doesn't get any better than that. Thrall and Cairn rescuing Horde babies. So badass. For all the epic weapons, that's who those guys are. Mega. So upheaval. You know, we talked a little bit, you guys saw some of the screenshots in the trailer of certain of these zones being broken.